All right, welcome everybody. Today we're going to be talking about how to get leads, sell real estate, make money, all that good stuff. And we're going to be doing a series for the rest of this month, which is September, where we're going to be talking about using some of the software that is available to you at EXP that can help you get leads, which doesn't necessarily cost anything. And I've put a link to a document in the chat. Somebody, if you wouldn't mind making sure that it opens so I don't hear, later that I can't open your document and that sort of thing. And then no one's complaining, so I assume the document will in fact open. What we're going to do is I have a series of tabs open, and this is just an outline of the process. And we're going to start with blogging, and we're going to evolve over the next couple of weeks from getting started with blogging to search engine optimization to social media use of it. But the goal for today is to just get started, right? So that you realize that you've got one, what you can do with it, why you'd want to do something with it. The tabs that I have open, and for example, one of them is a link to my website. I have a video that I've made that's in the step-by-step guide on how to optimize your website. I may do another class on that, but it hasn't really changed very much. I have the kvCORE platform open. This is simply that document. I'm going to move it over. I have Canva open. You don't have to use Canva, but I'm going to show you some simple, easy ways of getting graphics without having to pay for it. This is not a paid version of Canva. And then I have the program that I use most of the time for doing this, which is ChatGPT. I also have open Copilot, which is ChatGPT for poor people. In other words, it's got access to most of the ChatGPT features. It's a Microsoft product, and I have a paid-for version of ChatGPT. If you don't like Microsoft and its artificial intelligence, there's also Gemini, which is a free program from our friends at Google. And then the other tab that I have open, and you really don't need all of the AI programs, but the 4 tabs that we're going to be working with is going to be the kvCORE system, ChatGPT, Canva, and a program called Quillbot. And Quillbot is a plagiarism, I mean a paraphrasing program that allows you to take content and rearrange it in such a way that you may not get letters from lawyers or that sort of thing, right? It also can do a bunch of other things. Again, this is a free program. They do have an upgrade, but the only program that I'm using that for this is I use ChatGPT 4.0, which costs 19 something a month. Right? But the rest of these are free, and Copilot would do a reasonable job. So would Gemini, but we're going to start there. Now, if you're wondering, how can ChatGPT help me for blogging? Let's start with this. Why would you want to have a blog? What would you want to do with it? Well, if you're scouring the internet and you see an article on real estate and you like it, it might even have been put out by Zillow. It might have been put out by Redfin. But you see an article and you like the article. And I see real estate agents doing this all the time. They share the article on their social media. Now, what that means is that if somebody clicks on that link that you just shared on social media, it takes the person to the source site, which might be Redfin, might be Zillow, might be somebody else we don't like. And so they're getting all of the benefit from your social media posts. Everybody see that, right? And you're not doing yourself any favors. You're just helping other real estate sources. But let's say if we took that information or that material or the context of what they're doing and we created our own article and then we shared that on social media. Now what's happening is that when people click on what we've shared, it takes them to our website, right, where we can have calls to action. They can search for properties. They've got our contact information. You see the idea. Now, if you just wanted to start off, you could ask ChatGPT, how can you help me with blogging, right? If you just asked it that, you don't need the question mark because it already figures out.
I can support your blogging efforts in various ways, particularly.
Yes, my ChatGPT talks to me. Right? That means I can tell it to say nice things and it's a sad life, but that's what I got. So it's already come up with some suggestions. Now, I've already told ChatGPT who I am and what I do, so it tends to answer in that context. So let's start with something. So I'm asking it to write me a list of 10 top ranked blog headlines for use of real estate. And let's just say Oceanside, California. Now we could just say California. We could just leave it out, but let's see what it does.
Here's a list of 10 top ranked blog headlines for real estate in
I'm going to turn off the sound. All right. So it's putting out a list. Now, let's say I'm in a hurry and I want to write a blog post very quickly. Sometimes even before it's done, I will find one. So top 10 ultimate guide to selling your Oceanside, California home in today's market. That sounds like fun. So I'm going to copy that. All right, copy that. Now, in kvCORE, this is what it looks like when you logged in. You can access the blog certain ways. You could go over to Web IDX and go down to blog, or if you're lazy, you go up to quick actions and you go down to blog posts. And there we are. Now, I haven't been posting regularly on this for a while, but we're going to post today. And I guess I did a bunch of posts about tenants and landlord tenants. So I go over here and I click on add a blog post. And I'm going to paste in that title. Now, if some of you are thinking, oh, I want to write the same one just while he's writing it, one of the issues is that kvCORE is not going to let two agents have the same title. Well, that doesn't sound good because there may be a lot of people down in Oceanside that are in kvCORE that are posting it. So what you do is at the end, and this helps with some of your search engine optimization, you put in, you have to spell your name. Now that has diminished the chances that anybody is going to be writing a blog post with exactly the same title. All right. So I put in my name. I could do more. I could say, I'm the Oceanside neighborhood professional. I said you could load it up a little bit. I don't try to make it too long, but you understand you want the title to not be a title that other what am I trying to say? kvCORE. been a long day already, that they're using. All right, so what I might do is just copy this for now. All right, so that seems okay, reasonable. Sometimes I paste it in just sort of as a placeholder, and I'll see why. All right, so now we got a great title, right? We got a great title, but we don't have any content. Where could we possibly get content from? So I go back to ChatGPT and I say, write a blog post for the ultimate guide to selling Oceanside, California, and I hit enter. And it starts writing a blog post. Now, when it's done, and it'll be done in shortly, when it's done, our options are we can just copy that and paste it into our blog. It looks like this one is going to be longer. And I could leave it like that, or once it's done with its stuff, I could ask it to make a shorter version. I could ask it to make a shorter version, which is, it's going to take a minute or two. All right. So there are programs.
Remember that ChatGPT loves to write.
Yeah. Did you know that they found out it's really not artificial intelligence, that they just have this guy that types really fast? I don't know if you, anyhow. So if you're wondering, what was that quill thing? What was that about? Now, Google, among others, are pretty good at detecting content that was written by ChatGPT, because they have access to ChatGPT. So they can oftentimes figure out this is artificially generated content. It may not matter if you're sharing it on social media, but if I copy the paragraph, in the free version of Quillbot means that I don't get to do a long, I don't get to do long ones unless I pay them. But if I put it in and I say, I paste in that paragraph and I say paraphrase, what it's going to do is it's going to rewrite the paragraph. And I could look at it and see, do I like it? Do I not like it? Do I want to change it? So this paragraph here is different from the paragraph that ChatGPT wrote, but essentially is saying the same thing. Now, of course, this is a long one, and it would take a little while for you to go through and rephrase them all. Let's just assume we don't really care if Google catches us or not, right? But if you paraphrase the words, then the chances are a lot less that Google's going to figure it out that this is artificially generated blog post. And by the way, if you use Gemini, which is Google's product, it's going to know right away that it wrote this for you. Monica has a question.
Thank you, Michael. What is the app that we can use to humanize the AI text?
That's what I was using, Quillbot.
That's the one. Okay, thank you.
You could also Google search. If you ask ChatGPT, what is your purpose in life? It first of all means you have a lot of time on your hands. But secondly, the answer you're going to get is its purpose is to generate human-like interactions, human-like language. It's just that it is so much used that Google and others have been able to decipher whether or not words that appear in your blog were written by ChatGPT. Now, Quillbot, and if you Google search what are some other programs that would humanize AI text, you're going to find there's a bunch of them. I'm just giving you one. Quillbot is artificial intelligence, but it's not as obvious to the search engines that it's not ChatGPT or Gemini. It's not one of the big dogs. It's not as likely to figure it out. You could move it to Spanish. You can talk about making it more formal. You could make it more academic. You could say, I want it to be, and now it wants me to pay, right? I knew I shouldn't have done that because then it wants me to pay. But anyhow, does everybody, how far do you want to go? Let's say you're like, well, I don't really care what Google thinks about me. And notice down at the bottom, it's got my calendar link is already in it because I've given all this information to ChatGPT. We're going to change that. Let's say we just copy it and we go back to kvCORE and we paste it in. Right? We're blogging. All right. Now I can, where's my website? One of the things in my website is there's a sell button. If you want to know where is your blog, you'd go to agent and then there's a blog. But if you go over to sell, you're going to see that courtesy of EXP, there is a, what is my home worth? Instantly get a detailed home price estimate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that. And that's, by the way, you can put that in your email signatures and other things like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the call to action. How about this?
Michael, you're typing. What about plagiarism?
What
How does that figure into all of this?
I'm for it.
Well, you're so funny. What about legally? What are we setting ourselves up for? Should we change a few words in what people write, or what should we do?
Remember, this comes from an old song. Remember why, don't shade your eyes. Remember why the good Lord made your eyes. Plagiarize. Oh, that may not come off right. So have you ever heard of R&D?
You just confused the heck out of me. Do it again.
So first of all, what I'm putting into the blog is not copyrighted information or words. ChatGPT did not copyright the result it gave me, neither did Quillbot. These are non-copyrighted words. Now, if
is that something that ChatGPT and the other recognize? If it is copyrighted, is there a way for them to decipher that before they allow us to copy them?
Well, they don't, they're writing it themselves for us, not plagiarizing somebody else's words. They're not plagiarizing other people's words.
Okay, so when you did a copy and paste before, that was just without Quill or ChatGPT.
Right. I didn't bother to put it through Quill because, first of all, if I'm using ChatGPT's words, it's not plagiarism. They have not copyrighted their words. They
Thank
did
you.
not steal the words directly from another site, because if they did, they would need lawyers because they would be sued all the time. They wrote their own version of it. Back in the old days of internet lead generation, there were these very clumsy program called word spinners. And what the word spinner was is that rather than writing original content, you would find content that you like and you would copy it and you would paste it, and then the word spinner would spin the words and come up with a variation. If the law says that it's got to have, what is it? It can have up to 1/3 of it can be the same content, but in order for it to qualify as not plagiarizing. I mean, the chances that I and you and Monica might write something that has the same sentence in it when we're talking about selling a home, that's kind of high. But the question is it 2/3 the same or more than 2/3 the same? But the word spinners didn't work very well. The AI programs have gone way beyond that. ChatGPT didn't just take an article and rewrite it. It wrote it And because I'm using ChatGPT 4.0, based upon all the books, articles, websites that it has fed into its database. And if I told ChatGPT I wanted you to write this article, and some of you might not get the literary, but I'll say rewrite this article in the style, style, of Ernest Hemingway. And it's now writing the blog article in the literary style of Ernest Hemingway. Anyone else you like? Right?
Love
I paste
this.
it in.
Cool. How is when something is I'm sorry, trademarked, is there a type of trademark for an article? You know, I know there is for
Oh, it's
product.
copyright. And by
I'm
the way,
sorry, I meant to say copyright. Yeah.
Quill has, if you pay it, a check to see whether or not it's a plagiarized. But if we AI contact detection, you're going to see we asked and Google has delivered. Grammarly has an instant AI detector, free AI detector, Quillbot free AI detector, free, you get the idea. So if you're really, curious, you can run it through. I'm not that worried about this.
Thank you.
ChatGPT wrote it. Now, if you're really want, and the Ernest Hemingway, I could have picked Robert Frost. I could have picked, it would have rewritten it in a particular style. Now, Ernest Hemingway never wrote an article about selling real estate in Oceanside, right? And it's changed all of the style. I could tell it to write it in a poetry, right? And it would write a poem on how to do it, whatever I told it. And kvCORE has a add-on that you could pay for where they'll have human beings write articles for you. You could go to Fiverr and hire human beings to write articles for you. But my system takes me a few minutes to do, right? And I don't have to pay anything. All right. So want to know what your home is worth in today's changing real estate market? Click here for a free instant evaluation. All right. And so once I've done that, I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to go up to the link. I'm going to paste in, that's the URL to my seller valuation. I want it to open in the current window. I'm not going to change the title. It's what is there. And I've now hyperlinked it. And what happens if somebody clicks on it, you're going to see they're going to go to my find out what your home is worth page, where they could put in their address and get an instant home valuation. All right, now it seems like we've got stuff at the top where there's a opening, right? And so I might use the Hemingway version. I actually kind of like that. Did you see that? You have a house to sell in Oceanside. The sun sets over the water, and you stand at the edge of the Pacific knowing you have something valuable. The market moves like the tide, fast and unpredictable.
I love it.
Not too bad.
I love this too. I never knew you could do that, Michael.
Right. And by the way, I've had people do this in the style, they wanted it in Russian in the style of Pushkin, and it did it. Wrote it in Russian. It'll write in Spanish. Now, if you want it in the style of Cervantes, as he wrote in Spanish, it'll pop it out. But so there's a lot, it's a new world. Now, one of the things that we're missing is a picture would be nice. So in Canva, I can simply go and say, I want, I'm just going to look for templates. And I'm going to search real estate sold. And I'm going to I just want it to be, I'll pick some. I really didn't want that, but customize this template. Let me go back.
Can you put it there?
Did somebody, I hear people talking. Here, let me just, I'm going to skip Canva. I'm not that great at Canva. I need a blank Canva document. Templates. I need a blank one. Blank. I knew I shouldn't have done this because I don't know how to open up a blank Canva document right off the top of my head. But what I do know is
Trade design, the purple button.
Yeah, go to the top, Michael. There were tabs across the top.
creative design. Thank you.
Yep.
I try not to do anything in Canva, but
Well, you help us, so we'll help you.
is it going to give me a blank template? All right, that's good enough. Elements, home, sold. Elements, home sweet home, home. Home for sale, let's see. Okay, now, why not this one? All right, now, this may not be the most sophisticated way of doing it, but you know, this is what I got. I go down to my, gotta get this out of the way. I go down to my other plagiarism program, which is the snipping tool. I can either copy it or I can save it as a screenshot, which it's saving. And I go back here, and I'm going to insert a picture. And I upload, click on it. Where is it? Downloads. There it is. Image description. Save. All right, and so now it's put that image into my blog post. Now, if you remember, I had this link up here on valuation. I copy that. I go back here, I click on the image, I click on the link icon. I want it to open in a new window, and I click on save. Now, and I could have added a title, and the title could have added to search engine optimization, but what's going to happen is that if somebody clicks on the image, it's going to automatically go to my valuation page.
Michael, you didn't do it. It's the current window in. You didn't change it. When on the photo, it says current windows on the drop down.
Oh, sorry, I was doing that to test you to see if you were paying attention.
I guess I passed.
You did. The rest of you didn't. I didn't, so.
What did that mean, Michael?
I'll show you, because what I want is when somebody clicks on it, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger because it's a headline. When somebody clicks on it, what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and publish this. All right. And it sometimes can take a few minutes for it to appear.
Michael, what was the difference between like existing window and new window that the gentleman just pointed out?
So if it's a existing window, then the page they're looking at, which is the blog post, will leave their vision, and the find out what your home is worth is going to take over the screen. If it's a new window, a new tab will open with the home valuation page linked right there, but it won't shut down the blog post. It just opens up.
Thank you.
Which is arguably a better thing. So let's just see. And it doesn't necessarily do this immediately. There we are. So if I click on the image, it takes me to the valuation page in a new window. I go down, and I think I picked a new window. Down here, that one I didn't change it to a new window, but it's at the end, so I don't really care that much. I could fix it. But anyhow, does everybody now, all right, so that's not so bad, right? So what I would do is if I wanted to put this on social media, and I would be sharing the link to this post rather than posting somebody else's information. Notice they could search for a property while they're there. They could contact me. There's other things for them to click on. Now, one of the other uses of ChatGPT, and you may have heard me say this before, but if all you do is post real estate stuff, real estate, right? Market trends, just listed, just sold, home renovation tips, it sometimes turns people off. And that's because at that moment, not everybody is interested in renovating their home, selling their home, or doing anything like that. They're not all interested. So what we might want to have are some topics that we could post about. Let me see if I can find it again. Topics that we could post about that would be not just a real estate, but something that might be of a community interest. Give me 25 high ranked topics for hyper local blog posts in Fremont, California. Ranked. How about ranked? All right. So one of the other things that ChatGPT says that they're willing to do is to give you a social media calendar. Now, this is still giving me real estate stuff because it's just not, it didn't listen carefully or I didn't say it carefully, but there are a lot of good topics. So how about this? What are the best sushi in, there aren't very many in Morgan Hill, in San Jose, California. And it, like Google, doesn't require that you're the best spellers. And notice ChatGPT 4 is searching the web. And then they're starting to give me a list. So if you had real estate posts, but you also had posts about what are the top 10 sushi restaurants in San Jose, California, what are the top 10 vegan restaurants in Oakland, what are the top 10 things to do for a date night in Los Angeles, you get the idea. And if you're wondering how would you find that, let me see, is that the one I did? I asked ChatGPT, and I've incorporated some of this into the handout. So I asked ChatGPT, create a similar that is geared to local events and topics, not necessarily real estate, because I asked it for 50. Give me 50 topics, right? And I could share all this, but you can see what the prompt is. I said, create, and I'll put this in the chat, create a list. Create a list of blog topics for weekly posts by a real estate agent in California. Now, I could have said San Jose, California, San Diego, California, Orange County, California. It would not change it too much, but it would start to make it more specific. How to choose the right neighborhood in San Diego. That's what it would do. But it shows you the list. Is it better to buy or rent? What is escrow? How does it work? What is the impact of Proposition 19 on home buyers and sellers? You might be thinking, what's Proposition 19? Navigating multiple offers, exploring luxury real estate, understanding the foreclosure process, short-term rentals, is it worth the investment? How to sell tenant-occupied property. Then I said, create a similar list, and my spelling isn't great. Many of you have already noticed that. And I said, now make another list of topics. And again, I was going for 50, but it kept going on, and so I stopped it. And again, you could make it very specific. What are the top weekend getaways in the San Francisco Bay Area, in Southern California, in San Diego County? What are the best farmers markets? What are family-friendly events? Foodie guide, wine country, if you're up in my area, or there's lots of wine countries. You see, you get where are the dog-friendly parks and trails? Best places for sunset views, pet adoption, animal rescue, best local hiking trails, local street art and murals, best spots for picnicking, and on it goes. Now, if I pick, let me see, the problem I have with Zoom. So how about this? What are the best farmers markets in? And ChatGPT 4 searches the internet. It requires that you pay $20 a month. But then so does Copilot. And Copilot doesn't require you pay anything a month necessarily. I may have a paid for, but let's just say San Diego. I'm asking Copilot, best farmer market in San Diego. And it's spitting out a list. And it's given me 6 of them. If I took that same prompt, and sometimes, because I don't really have a social life, so sometimes I'll do it in Gemini, I'll do it in ChatGPT, I'll do it. And this is what Gemini, Google's one. Notice they're even giving us pictures. God bless them. They're even giving, and by the way, Google knows which pictures are for distribution that you don't have to actually give a credit or anything like that. They know, and they actually screen the picture. They actually screen the pictures. Now, I don't know how many farmers markets there are in San Diego, but notice they're all giving me about the same number. I have a blog post. What are the best farmers markets in San Diego? Paste it in. Now, any questions about that? Does everybody see the potential of this?
Yeah, I like your idea of doing like a local or a focused, thing. So someone looking for farmers markets. Now, when ChatGPT goes out and gives you the best, is that just by the ones most advertised, or is that by rating, or how do we interpret that?
They're reading articles, Yelp reviews. They're reading what's on the internet. Other people have probably put together lists of what they think the best sushi restaurants are. ChatGPT reads all of that. All right. So what Gemini and ChatGPT have done relative to Google search. See, I could have typed in Google, what are the farmers markets in San Diego? I could have done that, and then it would give me whatever it came up with. But then I'd have to read that. And then I'd have to cut and paste the list. So ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot, they've already read all of that. They've already indexed every scrap of information that's on the internet. They already know, it's already in their database. So it cuts out the middle person in that instead of searching for the answer on the internet, I search for the answer in the AI program, and it just gives me the answer without me having to do my own research. Monica has a question.
Michael, based on what you just said, the ChatGPT information and all the AI information, is it up to date, or it was only up to a year when you started?
That's ChatGPT 3.
Oh, that's okay, got it.
So let's look at Copilot. Okay. Copilot, by the way, also gave us pictures, right? Notice Copilot even has the website to the different farmers markets. But it's now September. And I'm going to copy that. So I'm asking Copilot to give me a real estate market update, August 2024 for Oakland. Huh? Now you'll notice, where did they get their information from? They borrowed it from Redfin, Realtor.com, Rocket Homes, whoever they are, and I don't know about Steadily. Right? They just wrote,
Yeah.
they went and
Up to date.
they looked, and this is August 2024.
Yep.
Right. Now, if I also went to Gemini and I asked it the same question, of course, this is Google. By the way, Google raised the bar, because when ChatGPT-3 came out, it was simply up to 2023 or something like that.
Right.
And so Google, I mean, this one isn't giving me a lot of data. Sometimes Google is good, sometimes it's not. But Google basically said, you know, hold our beer. We're going to do artificial intelligence that gives you up-to-date information, although this one didn't work as well. If I go to ChatGPT and I paste it in, and I've invested in ChatGPT 4.0. It's about $20 a month. And now, could that be a blog post? Yeah. Right? There it is. Right? And
Thank you.
notice it's comparing August to July in the article. Huh? It's giving me details. Now, because I've told it, it already knows who I am and has links to my stuff. So if you're interested in write me a blog posting calendar. It's giving me suggestions. It's giving me what to do on which day. It's giving me suggestions on what the topics might be. And all I have to do is put this in my calendar on those days, write the post, put it in my blog, and then share it with the different social media sites. So what I want to share, and I'll show you one more thing that I did. All right. And I was using a different blog at the time, and I didn't get along with that blog, but I didn't put it, I don't believe, in kvCORE. But what I was doing is I would simply go through the news and open up, I like Google News. Monica, do you have a question?
No, I just forgot
Oh.
to lower my hand.
All
Sorry.
right, that's fine. You're allowed. And let's say I type in real estate, and I'm searching for real estate news. And if I go over here, I could say, I want something that happened in the last week that involves real estate. Commercial, real estate proposals, one as office space. Ever wanted to become a real estate agent? Some of you are thinking, yeah, I would. Landlords face commercial, or somebody was ticking time bomb, office values. Plunging office values alarm Washington. That's not bad. I'm 10 places I'd never buy property. Let's just pick, because I'm doing this quickly and I obviously didn't, look at it in advance. Ticking time bomb. Let me,
While you're typing, Michael, what's the one that also you can grab a title and then you can go ahead or grab a link and then you can rename it? What is that program? It's free and I can't think of the name of it.
I don't know what you're doing with it, renaming the.
Well, you know what it is? It's when you grab a link, but the link is either long
Oh,
or,
you're
you know,
talking about, like, there's 100 of them, but Bitly is one of the more common ones. Google,
that's it. I
they're
just couldn't
called,
remember it.
they're
Thank you.
called URL shorteners. So let's say residential real estate market 2025. I'm going to show you the one I wrote, the blog post I wrote. Okay. I'm reading real estate articles, and I have other programs that help me collect real estate articles from all over the universe. I use a program called Feedly, Feedly. Obviously, no social link, right? But it collects real estate articles from hundreds of different sources, and I go through and I see something, and I saw an article on something called the silver tsunami. And so the silver tsunami has to do with mature people selling their homes and moving away or doing something. Look at all the silver tsunami articles. Now, some of them are a little old, some of them August, I don't know, but is the silver tsunami here? If I click on this, there's an article, right? And it's about old people selling their homes and how it's going to flood the market, right? Now, what I did is I took a couple of these articles. I spent a little bit of time and I found one that I liked, right? And what are the first waves of the silver tsunami? Let's see what this one looks like, right? So I found an article on the silver tsunami. Right, that one doesn't look like it has much detail. So riding the silver tsunami, Fortune magazine, they must have something. You can get an idea. It's about housing and housing inventory. Now this is from December 2023. Now that's not a bad article. All right. Now and I'm recording this, so some of these things that I use you might need to make a list or go through, but I use a program it used to be called Mercury Reader. It's now called Postlight Reader. It's this little rocket ship up in my, the little icons. And when I click on it, what it's done is it's taken that web page and removed all the ads and banners and stuff like that. All right. So I've now got an article about the silver tsunami. If I copy this and I go to ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever. And by the way, ChatGPT knows what the silver tsunami is. But if I find an article that I really like, could be more than one, could be 2 or 3, right? But I find a couple of articles that I really, really like, and I put them into ChatGPT, and I would say, write a blog post on the effects of the silver tsunami on housing in the US, including content from, and I pasted it in. And it's writing me an article about about old people selling their home. Writing an article. And again, I didn't spend a lot of time vetting the particular article, but it was from somebody that seemed reputable, and it's written me an article, which I could then copy, paste, and put into the blog. Now, I'll show you 2 more things if you guys are into this. I was thinking about just doing a series on artificial intelligence. For example, I have a program that reads and summarizes HOA documents and zoning codes and other things like that.
Yes, let's do
uh,
that.
What?
Yes, let's do that.
Let's do that. Send me a,
Yeah,
send,
I'd love to
HOA
also,
documents, yes.
yes.
Yeah.
that would be great. And ADUs are the other thing that people are doing now that they're not moving so much.
Right, but
Housing
see,
should.
I could also, and Elena, did you have a question? Your hand is up.
Yes, thank you, Michael. So my question is about ChatGPT. I was trying to put some of the contracts in there to see if they could summarize it for me in bullet points, but I couldn't figure out how to copy and paste
All right. So
the-
I have some of the contracts, and you may need ChatGPT 4 or to use another program that's free.
oh,
So let's say I go to ChatGPT 4 and I'm going to create a new chat. And notice there's a little attached file icon.
oh,
And if I click on this and notice Google Drive, it's a weird thing, but I have an advanced Google account on this one, which doesn't work, but the free ones do. I don't know why. But if I go here and I find California Residential Purchase Agreement and I open it up, it's now opening it up. And make a list of everything that this contract says is a contingency. Notice it's giving me links. Yeah. And on it goes.
thank you.
Now, so remember back to the silver tsunami, right? And I put a link to this program in my document. But let's say when I wrote the original blog post, I also wanted to include a image. And I used Microsoft's image creator, which it's been a long time. I still have the prompt here. And I'm going to click on create. And the prompt says senior people tsunami. That's what the prompt says. And what the program did is it created a bunch of pictures of people with gray hair and a tsunami hitting them. Now, if you're thinking, are these copyrighted pictures royalty free? The answer is yes. Yeah, you can just use them. All right. So, any questions about this so far? Do you want me to show you one of my favorite, most useful AI sites? Want me to do one more, and then
Yes, Michael.
I'm willing to do like as we go forward. Like right now, I think I've given you enough information. You could write a blog post, right? Isn't that right? I mean, you could get ChatGPT to write a blog post. You could steal an image from Canva. You could use this program to create images. So we've handled that. But one of the things that you may find is that if you have an article or something that is really long. Now, let me just see, what do I have? I don't know if I really want to show you all of this because I'm going to get into trouble. But you'll notice these documents here are continuing education course manuals. These are long documents. So let's say I go to a new tab and the AI program that we're going to look at now is called Notebook LM. Notebook LM comes from Google. How much does Google charge? Nothing. Now, I actually have another Google account where it's not my business account, where I have a lot more things. But these are just different things, and I haven't named all mine because sometimes I'm just doing something. But let's say I had a long document. By a long document, I mean like I don't know, a homeowner association file, a long, wordy property inspection, or I'm taking a class, and let's say the class is on risk management, right? And so what this program is doing, it's uploading that very long PDF file for the continuing education course called risk management. It is now reading the file. It will now allow me to ask the file questions. Yeah. It also comes up with some suggested questions. Already comes up. This program was originally designed for researchers. If I click on the study guide, what it's now doing is it's summarizing that document, and it's going to have questions for me so that I can test my understanding of the document. But I also, let's say I had a question that I was being asked about risk management that was referring to that document. If I type that question into the chat, Google software is going to read that document and give me an answer. Now, you'll find that if you want to copy and paste into ChatGPT, so for example, if I have let's say, a YouTube video, and let me find something that's really long, like kvCORE blogging. Now there's one of the many posts that you're going to find is there's one from, here, let me just, here we go. This person here, God bless her, she's got usually really long videos. I want to find a really long video. Here's probably how to blog and send emails with kvCORE. Okay, now this is a long video. Now, I don't really want to watch the whole video, but I'm going to go down here and I'm going to go to show transcript. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to get rid of the timestamp. And I'm going to copy all of this. Now, if I go to ChatGPT and I paste it in and I tell ChatGPT to read this and give me a summary, I'm pretty sure I've got one long enough. Read and summarize the following. Let's just see if I may not have picked one long enough. But what I often get, it's not long enough, but I've got some of these videos where it is really, really long. And ChatGPT says, no way, this is too long. We're not going to do it. But if I go to Notebook LM, which is the Google one, and I click on add, notice copied text is a choice. Links to websites are choices. Google Slides and Google Docs are choices. Uploaded PDF files are choices. Now I can have like 20 or 25 sources. There is a limit. It's like 200,000 words. It's essentially each source limit is the size of 2 Harry Potter novels, each source. And I can have like 20 sources. So if you've got lots of stuff, big stuff, and you're finding that the chat programs are saying, this is too big, we can't read anything that big, stop. This program will read it. And you notice I put in a textbook. And it read it. And now we'll answer questions about it. Can you see an advantage to downloading a textbook, uploading it into this program, and being able to ask it questions about what's in the textbook? There's silence now.
This is a changer, Michael. This is like really putting us on. So thank you.
Here's a great tip. Thank you so much, Michael.
And so I've had, she's not online. I've had agents send me like, hey, here's a property inspection. Would you please read it and highlight any red flags? So I go to this program, I upload the property inspection.
Oh, that is so funny. So your people think, oh my God, he's wonderful. And here you are throwing it. I'm kidding you.
Well, I
Good job.
look at it. It gives me links to every spot in the HO in the document. I mean, it tells you on page such and such. So, for example, if these were HOA documents and I wanted to know what are the rental restrictions, bang. Right? Can I operate a business? What are the limitations? Bang. Right? How often can they raise it will have, assuming that it's a legible copy of the HOA docs, it will have read and processed all of those words, all of that content. And now this is being powered by Gemini, which is Google's AI software. It's not perfect. And by the way, sometimes I find that ChatGPT is better, but then it won't handle documents that are 250,000 words. ChatGPT will not do that. And ChatGPT will only allow you to upload 4 files at one time. But by the way, ChatGPT can analyze a picture. If you have a picture of a diagram and you upload it, it'll figure out what it is and text about it. It can do that, but it can only do 4 things at one time, and none of them can be very big, and I paid for an upgrade. But this free program, 20 sources, each one over 200,000 words. We're talking textbook size, each one. All right. So those were my AI thoughts. This wasn't supposed to be about AI, but automating some of this process so that you can come up with a social media schedule. We're going to start with blogging. What we're going to talk about next week is using some of the features that are built into kvCORE you may not know about that would allow us to create content for the blog that's more of a micro view of a market. So that if you're saying, well, Carlsbad properties that are being held open this weekend, that are in this price range, that have just been listed, that, all sorts of things like that. And the system can be automated as well. By using some of these automated systems, we can produce more useful content in a quicker time period. That's the goal, right? And then now you've got people going to your website, clicking on things, asking for market values to their houses, maybe doing searches, all of that. Hope that was enough for you today.
It was great, Michael. What was the reference to removing the date code when you were importing that large file? Do you have to take that off?
I didn't recall.
From the YouTube video, YouTube video.
Oh, I did. Oh, I don't like it that it's got all of those timestamps. What I want from the YouTube video is everything that is said. That's what I want. And then I want it to, without me having to watch the video, I want the AI program to process all the words that were used. And that little timestamp isn't necessary for that. It just sort of gets in the way, right? Because, and it allows you could go down the timestamp. If you keep it, you can click on it and it'll take you to the part of the video where that's being discussed. But let's say like some of Inside Real Estate videos on kvCORE are an hour and a half long. And maybe I want to know how to do something, right? Well, I copy their transcript, paste it in, and let the program analyze it. Elena, do you have a question?
Yes, Michael, my question is if I could call you after this. I need some advice real quick.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay, thanks.
All right, I will put it in ChatGPT and give you an answer.
Okay, thanks.
All
Bye.
right, bye, everybody.
Thank you, Michael.
Bye, thank you.
This was amazing.
All right,
Yep, thank you. Great training, Michael. Thank you.
all right, glad you liked it.
Weekend.
Bye.